right here. But they was dumb because they did not look, did it move? That dog would sit there, a little tree, there was no squirrel in it. That squirrel would hit this tree and would go and jump into the next tree, and get to where he wants to go. That dog would sit there and he would watch that thing as it would go up there, and it's like, so we would train that by moving that squirrel from limb to limb. Then what you do, finally, you would let it go. And then you would put the dog back in the back, and the dog, how you train this is that you would take this dog and you'd drop the squirrel down, he'd see the squirrel, and you'd drag it, and you would drag it around the corner of the house. And as you drug it around the corner of the house, the dog would follow you after you let it go, and he would tree it on the backside of the house. But that wasn't graduation day. It was graduation day. That dog was ready to hunt, AJ, when that dog had no idea where the squirrel had been. And so what we would do, we would go behind the corner of the house, and I'd put the squirrel on the ground, and I'd run it up a tree, and then I'd walk away. What the dog would do, the dog would walk around, and he's hunting. You want a close hunting dog. You don't want a dog that goes out far, because if you've ever hunted squirrel, because a walker, blue tick, red bone, all of them will hunt squirrels. But they're trashy. They will get after a deer. And there's nothing worse than having one of your dogs get after a deer. Anybody ever been coon hunting?
They'll leave them in the woods.
Coon hunting sucks.
I love it.
Because you got to hunt for them dogs. That's why they have radio collars on them, that they get them in next county. Coon hunting's always done late at night, early in the morning, when humans are supposed to be asleep. And I would get mad because I'm out there hunting for dogs when I should be asleep. Close hunting dog. You would turn it loose, and the dog would go around the corner with no sign, no thing, but it was looking for the trail of where that squirrel might be. And so Emily, it had developed this sense of smell that it could sense where that squirrel was at. And that's how you qualified a good dog, with no sense of trail or walk, whatever, but enough of an awareness that that dog in the dead quiet would go find that scent. And then it would learn to tree from that right there. Had no idea where it was at, but it was trained to look for that scent. You realize that is how God teaches us. That is exactly how. Some of us are still playing with the squirrel. Some of us need God always running in front of us. But a mature Christian, when God is quiet, he starts seeking out God. Okay, God, where are you at? Where are you at? Because God knows that you're probably over here wandering around somewhere, and the thing is that God is somewhere else, but he wants you to find him. Because the more that you seek for a thing, the more that you long for a thing, the dearer it becomes to you. And when that dog has found that scent and he's treed that squirrel, that dog, we praise him. That dog, when we killed the squirrel, would get parts of the squirrel that the other ones didn't. And so that's why we would bless that dog. God does the same thing for us. When we find God, he blesses us. Whether it be understanding, wisdom. So basically, in essence, not every time that God is quiet is God disciplining you, but yet he is. And what I mean by that, it's not that he's training you. The trail gets further and further and further away. But the thing is that what God is trying to tell you is, trust me, I'm here. You may not see me, but I'm everywhere. No, he says, be still and know that I am God. What he's saying is that calm down and know that I'm God. And know that you are mine. That I take care of my own. But you notice that there is this point that we have to look at it. We have to be God's, but is God our God? So in other words, what you pursue is where your kingdom lies at. If all of your time is consumed, David, with video games, or it's consumed with fishing, it's consumed with hunting, it's consumed with gardening, it's consumed with work, it's consumed with all these other things, then guess where God's going to be? Where would you be? Where would any man or a woman be if your mate is out somewhere else? Think about it. Lance, what kind of employee do you want working for you? One that has your back. But how do you get people to have your back? Having theirs. So how do you get God to have your back when you're still acting like it don't matter how I represent you? As a parent, what is worse than a disobedient child as a parent? Nothing is worse. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see your child do things or act a certain way. What do you think God feels about us? You think God is proud of what we do and how we've done it? You got to understand something. We are in this point of life to where the finality of life is a reality. It is a reality. It is happening faster every day. I don't know about, with the exception of Don and Dory, I'm getting old. And I'm getting older every day. I'm feeling pains that I've not. And like I was talking about this morning about a tree. You keep that tree up. This is what Carrie and I was talking about. If I'm up and I'm working around, I'm walking, I'm good. Until that tree falls down. When that tree falls down, no matter what you want to do, that tree is just done. Because it's done. I am approaching that time to where I've spent an entire lifetime looking for the things that caught my eye. And everything that caught my eye has brought me to this point here. But I've also looked behind me and say, okay, I want to do this better from this point forward. I want to do this better from this point forward. Honor God first. Give God your first fruits. Right. Place God as the priority in your life, and I assure you that everything else will be taken care of. When we're stressing, when we're having anxieties, I've learned that during this time, I don't think it's a bad thing, because as a perfect example, I'm sitting here and I talked to Dory, and I was going to go help Dory with her flower bed, stupid rain. So we talked about, well, she said, well, let's just talk about next week or so when it's dried out. Okay, not a problem. But you got to understand, I had a week, Lance, of doing nothing. And I don't know if y'all never had a job before, Carrie. It sucks, don't it? And there's nothing worse than an idle mind. They said that an idle mind is the devil's playground. And he comes in, he starts accusing you. Try being a man with an idle mind. Carrie, I know you understand. But the point is that when you're the man, what I mean, you're a provider. I'll tell you exactly how I understand. No. My point that I'm trying to make, like with Carrie, I've always admired Carrie's strength with Carrie.
I know what you meant.
And the thing is that for me, I've had this role that I've always assumed. And I'm like, and I remember I talked to you and I'm like, okay, God, everything's, what am I supposed to do? And I remember stopping and saying, okay, God, what do you want me to do? I'm going to leave this up to you. I'm not stressing. I'm not panicking. I'm just saying, hey, I'm dialing up them digits. As we would say, hit me up. And I'm sitting there going, I'm trying not to panic. I'm trying not to start, but I'm trusting. I'm trusting. Lance calls. Lance actually sends me a text. Hey man, what are you doing? That's French for I need help. And that's French. And so, what do I do? What do you need? And the thing is that it all works out, doesn't it? Does it work out to our expectations? Our expectations don't matter. God has a plan. You do what you can do. And at the end of the day, what you can't do, guess what? Don't matter. And I'll give you a quiet observation. A man told me this, and his most astounding words I've ever heard in my life. He said, Monty, he said, you realize that in about 70 to 80 years from now, you won't even matter. What happened today won't matter. And matter of fact, 70 to 80 years from now, nobody will remember you. I said, what do you mean? He says, I'll give you an example. My dad. He says, my great-grandchildren do not know my dad. And he only died 30-something years ago. But they don't know him. They'll never know nothing about my dad except for what I show them. Right. But they don't know him. Go by the cemeteries. Go by and look at all these people who are dead and gone, and you know nothing about. One of these days, we are going to be not only, but we have to look, okay. So I've heard this argument, and people say, well, what if God ain't real? What if heaven ain't real? Okay, I'll roll with this. I will roll with that argument that heaven ain't real, that God ain't real. I'll roll with that argument. I will roll with that argument. But if I have spent my life trying to build my life and my family around a moral compass other than my own of what I think is right and wrong, I ain't going to have nobody else tell me. But I've lived and served a God that doesn't exist. I've tried to be charitable. I put my shopping carts back up. I don't push them into cars. I don't flip people off when they cut me off in traffic. Occasionally. I try to be moral. I try not to judge. But when I do judge, I really try not to condemn. That's two different things. It's quite one thing to judge, it's quite another to condemn. So I try less to condemn. I have learned more about, hey, well, that's different. I'll change the subject. I'm learning. And if people are on a conversation that I'll either, if I can't disengage and walk away, I will try to switch channels. If I don't, I'm running away because I don't need it in my life. And I've lived this life trying to be a better person. And at the end of it, there's the great nothing. Okay. At least my family remember me as trying to be that guy that's trying to be a better person and try to do all these things. Maybe I was a good daddy. Maybe I was a good papa. I don't know. Heck, maybe I may be one day a good teacher. I don't know. But if I try to do that, and at the end of all of this, there is nothing, okay, I'll roll with it. I'll take that thing. Because at least those that matter to me will know I've tried to be a good man. Versus those that didn't matter to you will remember you as the person that only cared about themselves. Your goals, your ambitions, all you care about. We know people who are like that. I will roll that dice. I will take that gamble. The gamble I will not take is, what if? What if there is God? Wait. So then, I need to understand what God I might face. And the thing is that the God that I see that has proven himself over time and throughout history is, how do you tell a fake God from a real God? How do you tell Dubai chocolate from Hershey's? A what? Dubai chocolate. Don't even ask. It's a real thing. I didn't know about it. But how do you tell Dubai chocolate from a Hershey's? How do you tell it is that if somebody says, we're as good as, or Dubai chocolate is not. A God that is fake does not have opponents. An evil entity that is fake does not have opponents. Yin yang. It is representative of the dueling force of good and evil that is constantly gaining and losing territory. It's constant. But it tells you throughout history there is good and there is evil. Did you notice that there is good and not goods? There is evil and not evils. There is one singular evil. There is one singular good. Narrow it down. Now, if we take out between the Baptists and the Methodists, because y'all know the difference between the Baptists and Methodists, don't you? The Methodists will say hello to you at the liquor store. The Methodists